Okay, this is a continuation of the 1.6 notes. So we're right here on this box. Find the values of x such that f of x is greater than 0. So f is the dashed line. So that's going to be, silly me trying to find a highlighter. So where f is greater than 0 and f is dashed, so it's going to go like this. Okay, so f is above the x-axis from -9 to 1. The next box down here, find the values of x such that g is increasing. Let's look at the g graph. G is going to be the solid line, and it's constant, and then it looks like it's increasing here. Now, even though there's a turn, that's still increasing. You agree? Down, 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 and then up. So highlighted in pink is where G is increasing, and we're supposed to be explaining what we're doing, so that's going to be a positive slope. All right, so we have a positive slope from -6. You don't need to worry about the turn, that corner. So we go from +6 to 3, and we're going to unite that interval from 9 to 11. All right, find the values of x where g is decreasing. Okay, well, this is constant, so now g is decreasing between these two x values, which I used over here. I was just trying to make this window better. Oh well, whatever. So that's going to be from decreasing means a negative slope. And we have a negative slope from 3 to 9 on the solid line of G. All right, where is G constant? G is constant right here. Now, normally we don't include these turns because at the turn it's neither increasing or decreasing, but we will include this endpoint. So a constant means a zero slope, and we're going to include from -11 to -6, but then not include the -6. Okay, so turning the page. Turning the page, we have the same graph, but just new questions, and it's nice to have a clean graph because I drew all over the other one. So let's remind ourselves that G is a solid line and F is a dotted line in this example, so we get mixed up. Okay, so what are the x values at which F is increasing? And that means F has a positive slope. And the x values at which F is decreasing, that would mean F has a negative slope. Let's take the notes and then let's fill in the answers. How about that? And all of these, we're going to make a word wall on the side of the board. What does this decreasing mean? And F is constant. So this looks like the same questions we just did with a G, but now we're going to look at the F graph. F has 0 slope. Okay, we haven't done the answers yet. We're just doing the descriptions. Find the values of x such that f is less than 0. Remember, if these are the y's, where are the y's less than 0? That would be below the x-axis, below x-axis. And what the heck? Multiplication? Hold on. What the? All right, we'll have to figure that one out. Let's work on these answers. Why don't you pause? Do you pause when I tell you to? Click pause and try and do these 4 answers on your own and then unpause to see if you got them right. Are you going to do that? Okay, pause. Did you really pause? I hope you did. If not, you're faking it. We can't fake it. We got to really, really know that we're getting this right. So hopefully you paused and you are checking your answers. How did you do? Erase your mistakes. Okay, So this is really cool, you guys. When you multiply two numbers and you get a number less than 0, well, what does less than 0 mean? Do you agree that that means negative? Okay. When is a product negative? When you multiply what kinds of numbers? Interesting, huh? Okay, so how do you get a negative number? Do you agree when you multiply a positive times a negative, you get a negative? And how about a negative times a positive? So what does that mean about g and f? The values of x such that when you multiply, you're going to get a number less than 0. That means f and g are either positive and negative or negative and positive. So let's say f and g have opposite of 1p or 2. I always forget 2. My notes say have opposite signs. Isn't this neat? Okay, so how can we tell that? We're going to go to the graph and we're going to say, where do they have opposite signs? Meaning one is positive and one's negative. Okay, so starting at -9, what do you think? Opposite, 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 opposite. And then do you see how this hits 0? And this is positive. So we're going from -9 to this number, which is what? -4.5? Okay. -9 to -4.5. We're not done yet. Oops, you can't see what I'm writing. There we go. Okay, we're not done yet, but let's jump over here, okay? What happens when you multiply two numbers and you get a number greater than 0? They're either both positive or both negative, which means f and g have the same sign. Okay, so why did I stop here? Because they had different signs, but then what happens at -4.5? Do you see now they're both positive? They're both in the positive zone. They're above the x-axis. Positive, 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 positive. Do you see at 1 is now f goes to negative? So between -4.5 and 1, they're both positive. Positive, 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 positive. They're both above the x-axis. So I'm going to put this over here. From -4.5 to 1. They have the same sign. Okay, so at 1, the f function now goes below the x-axis, so it's negative, and the g is now positive. So we have a positive times a negative is a negative, and these are different, 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 different until we get here to 6. So what x values is this between? This is between now 1 and 6. They have different signs between 1 and 6. I don't know if there's more. Okay, what happens at 6? They're both below the x-axis, which means they're both negative. Negative, 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 negative. Oops, right here. What happens right here? Right here, the solid line goes above. So they're both negative from, what x value is this? 6 to, what x value is this? 10.5? 10.5. Then they go back to being different because the solid line is above the x-axis and the dashed line is below. Notice how I'm not using the f and the g because I've lost track of which one was which. But I know from 10.5 to, and is that a solid point at 11? To 11, and then we have to stop because we can't talk about anything past that because it's a solid dot. So there they had different signs, so different means the product is less than 0. Isn't that neat? I feel like you guys, that this is blurry. Why is it blurry? Sorry. Maybe it doesn't see my red very well. All right, do I have time for more? Ooh, okay. I want you to complete this in class. So this is going to be your little in class, turn the video off, do it with your friend. This is called a check for understanding. Check for understanding. You're like your practice, in class practice, okay? In class practice. Practice. Do it now, okay? Do now. You can do it. In the second half of block will be lots of notes, 1.7 notes later. All right, but do this page now, and then homework. Homework will be to finish the whole packet. All right, thanks guys.